Well, and another little piece I want to talk about here, since we're talking about scheduling things and all that, is you need to make some sort of effort every day. And I don't know if you have to pencil this in your calendar, but maybe it's before you leave for work, and it doesn't have to be a long time, but just to have some connection with your partner. A lot of people do it in the mornings. A lot of people do it late at night, right before they go to bed. But just have that time to where you can reconnect with your partner, whether it's, maybe you watch a show together and sit on the couch and hold hands or something to that nature as many days as you can. I know some people travel, and so they're not together all the time, but try to do it every day that you're together so you just have that bond and you don't lose that, and it's not like, it's a big event when you go on your date night. It should, date nights are big enough events anyhow, but you need to have that connection all through the week. But,
and Rob, I know you and I said this, be cautious of the watching TV, because sometimes people will get into that and you just get numb and you're not really paying attention to each other. So in that sense, you need to plan that a little bit better. Have something you actually both like and can talk about or something.
Well, sometimes we'll even turn the volume down on the TV, and we'll speak for the people on the TV, and that's always gives us a good laugh.
Playfulness again.
Yeah, I agree. You guys, I don't know. It is a lot less stressful because a lot of times life deals us a lot of things that we have to go through, and if you have that stress at home with your partner, there's no escaping it at all. So I always go back to you want to be right or you want to be happy, because it just, even with my children, my wife used to tell me to pick my battles. And now I try to sit down. My youngest is 20 and my oldest is 28. And I try to ask her opinion of things. Now, half the time there's no way I would take that chance of doing it, but I just want them to know that there's more than what I think I know. And I'm always open to learn more. And we can't discount the people that we spend most of our time with or all sleep under the same roof, because they turn out to be the children that are growing up to be the entitled ones. So I think it's really important stuff. So I want to switch gears a little bit. You have I know you guys have written a lot of books or been a part of a lot of books. Is there a plan on another book coming out that's going to talk more about Rob and Janelle Alex?
I don't know if it's really talking about us. What we're working on is not business focused. It's called the Full Moon Approaches. It's a working title. So for some, it would be a bit woo-woo. Of course, we have some, Rob doesn't like that term, I know, but we have some very spiritual aspects of ourselves that are different than a lot of views. I don't know if there's anything, our stories in which are together, but...
I don't know. I mean, we're constantly thinking up new ideas because, like we said, we have so much information we want to share. And as we're learning, we find new things that we want to share. But there's, for me, there's a little piece of me in every book that we write. My flair, my thoughts, and we're very careful always to make sure that, we both have some input into the books that we write, so it's not just one or the other. So you get a good blend of us in every book. But, it's just so fascinating to come across the topic that just light you up enough to go, I want to write a book about this.
Well, and, because we have so many, because we have the Sexy Challenges series, and we have the Mission Date Night Adventure series, which are the newer ones. And, so those are a lot shorter, but we like to call them effortless ideas because they give people ideas of something to go and do. And, of course, the Mission Date Night ones, as I said a little bit earlier, Mission Date Night, that brand is that playful piece. I'm always saying, think James Bond meets Austin Powers. So, there's the sexy spy with the really humorous, British spy. It's just funny. But so like I said, again, I know I'm repeating, but it's playful. And so if you were to read those, you're going to get some of like, oh, my gosh, these guys are crazy. But we have so much fun. Yeah. And, of course, sometimes I stand back and I just shake my head and go, oh, my gosh, because Rob can really embarrass me because he's so comfortable being silly. It's often a bit more difficult for me, but it's a fun piece. And so I think if you pick those up, you're going to get a little bit more of probably the insight into us, with that. Then Richer Together doesn't have that whole focus, obviously, on us. So.
Awesome. So we're getting close to the end of the show, and I want to ask you individually, and I'll start with you, Janelle, okay? Because I know Rob is not shy at all. But
I'm not shy.
What I like about the two of you is that you're not afraid to laugh or laugh about yourself and just have fun. I'm a big believer that when the smiles come on, everything else disappears and the real person shows up. But, Janelle, for you, for women out there, okay, in the year 2015, here we are almost through the month of June, 6 months in. What's a nugget that you would leave with them that can make their last 6 months of this year better?
Well, I consider myself to be a very powerful woman. I'm a leader, and I like that role. So I'm not shy. I like to be in front of people. Put me in front of tons. I love it. But, we have to really also embrace our femininity, because when we are in those powerful roles, then we get into that masculine energy where we have to sometimes feel like we have to be competitive or make our businesses better. And, and in the podcast world, there's not that many people. There's not that many women, people. There's not that many, there's not that many women podcasting or even being, obviously we didn't get to talk to Michele today, but, being in that host role. And so when we're in those positions, it's so important that we play that side of it, and we do that leadership, and we get those things accomplished, and we have to do that. But you have to connect with your feminine side and be proud of it, be proud of your intuition, trust and be okay with your emotions, because those things are huge, and we need them. We all need them. Our guys need them too.
So, Rob, I mentioned earlier about men being leaders, and I want to clarify something there, okay, because I speak to a lot of men and in the Christian community, and one of the things that I'm big on is men have to understand that being the leader doesn't mean they're in charge. Okay, there's a difference there, right? I mean, and even in a woman's space in the house, okay, I mean, they're the glue that keeps that leader of that house together. But the thing of it is a lot of men think that they have to come out and, be that 1956 guy, where we're in a different era now, and women are competing, and there's just a whole bottle full of stuff. What do you tell men out there in their relationship, something that's going to allow them to better it in the year 2015?
Oh, okay. That's an easy one for me, because so often we're looking for that one thing that'll make our relationship great. That, if I could just get this down, it'll be great. And I'm here to tell you there's no finish line in our relationship. It is a constant race. We are constantly learning. We are constantly changing. Everything is different today or tomorrow than it is today. So to think that you're going to hit this spot where your relationship's going to be perfect, it's going to be great for the rest of your life, you're foolish. You need to understand that you always need to be learning. You always need to be adjusting. You always need to be looking for that thing that's going to make your relationship a little bit better. And once you get that one down, then you look for that next one that makes it a little bit better. Because this is not, like I said, this is not a race where there's a end-all, be-all finish line. And I think so many men are looking for that. And they're looking for that, that golden nugget that's just going to make everything perfect, and it's not there. It's learning and evolving as a man in your relationship constantly.
I like that. I know that in order for a corporate executive, an employee, just a person in the volunteer position in the community, if they don't keep learning every day, they're not valuable to nothing. And just like in a relationship with a husband and a wife, a parent and their kids, it's really important to keep educating yourself so that you can grow. My youngest is 20, I mentioned, so my 3 boys, as they grew into moving out of the house and having a girlfriend and all that, I told them that you guys, if you're going to get serious about having a steady girlfriend, you got to be willing to give up 150% to get back 10. And they looked at me funny. I said, you're going to see that's that's what you have to give up, no matter what. So everything you're doing in life is to raise your children to be better, to be a better spouse, or to have a great business. I think that people have to be willing to give up for nothing in return and have the faith that it's going to come back. How do you convince people of that?
Wow, how do you convince them?
I mean, I don't think you convince them. It's just a mentality that you have to get into. And it seems a little easier when you have children because you love your children so much and you want to give them the best of everything and you want to give them all the knowledge and you don't expect anything, but you hope that they grow up to be wonderful members of society, but you don't expect anything in return. I'm not expecting my kids, of course I'm very short, but I'm not expecting them to go to the NBA and make a bunch of money so they can support me.
Really?
But I'm just, I want them to have the best life they can, and I don't expect anything in return. And if you get that mentality going in your relationship with your partner and in your business, obviously we always want to make money. That's one of the things we need to live in this world. But, you get away from the attachment to it, like I've got to get something in return for this. Because I know there's a lot of people that have helped me along the way that, I'm not going to be able to repay for a long way down the road, and they don't expect anything. My goal is to one day be able to, do the same that they did for me for somebody else.
Yeah. Just keep paying it forward. It's not about paying back, it's just paying forward. And it's a hard society we live in, and we're just, I think men are trained to be kamikaze pilots, do everything they can to be the best what they can, and they don't stop to realize what they're damaging to be the best they can at the same time. So, guys, we're out of time, and I really thank you, and I feel blessed to have you on the show for the whole hour, and I just look forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take we're out of time. So what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to just wrap up the show real quickly. Michele Scism will be back next Monday. Wow, every Monday. But next Monday she'll be back at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure to tune in to her and go to Tough Talk or toughtalkradionetwork.com to find the whole list of shows we have, and you can go to Take Action, GetProfitsRadio.com, and connect with Michele. That's our show for today. I wish everyone a great week, and once again, thank you to Dr. Rob and Janelle Alex for what they're doing to help couples get along, build that relationship. We'll see you all next week.
You have been listening to Take Action and Get Profits with Michele Scism, brought to you by the Tough Talk Radio Network. A special thanks to all of our sponsors. If you'd like to be a sponsor or a guest, please go to toughtalkradionetwork.com.